You're sitting on a fence. One side is truth, the other is comfort. And you think if you sit long enough, the fence will turn into a path. But it won't. It'll just rip your pants to shreds.
You make it sound like everything's simple. But it's not. I have a family. I have a child. I can't just leave because I'm not happy.
Can't. The favorite word of people who've already chosen but won't admit it. Let's be real. You're not unable. You're unwilling. There's a massive difference between those two things.
Fine. I'm unwilling. I'm scared. Are you satisfied now?
Scared of what? Be specific. Don't give me the generic scared of hurting people. I want to know what the real fear is.
I'm scared people will see me as irresponsible. A guy who abandoned his wife. A man who destroyed his family. They'll say, he couldn't handle a few difficult years, so he just quit? And I'm scared they'll be right.
Ah, there it is. You're not afraid of hurting your wife. You're afraid of losing your reputation. You're afraid of losing that good husband mask you've glued so tightly to your face that you've forgotten what you look like without it.
That's not the only thing. I'm also scared for my child. My kid is young. If mom and dad divorce, what will they think? They'll blame themselves. They'll grow up with psychological wounds.
You know what's funny? You're using your child as a shield. You're hiding your cowardice behind a kid and calling it love. But let me ask you, what kind of home is your child growing up in? A home with love but no marriage? Or a home with marriage but no love?
They still have both mom and dad. We still eat together, still go out together, still
pretending. You're still pretending to love your wife. Your wife's still pretending to be happy. And your child? Your child is learning that pretending is the only way to exist in a relationship. You think that's a gift?
They're not old enough to understand these things. They just need to see mom and dad together.
Your child understands more than you think. Kids don't need words to sense the temperature in a house. They know when parents only talk about money and schedules. They know when parents don't touch each other anymore. They know when smiles only appear when other people are watching. And you know what they're learning? They're learning that's what love looks like. Cold, empty, obligatory.
So what do you want me to do? Divorce and make my child live between two homes? Make them explain to their friends why mom and dad aren't together anymore? That's the real trauma.
You're comparing acute trauma with chronic trauma. Divorce is a sharp wound. It hurts, it bleeds, but it can heal. What you're doing, you're giving your child poison one drop at a time every day and telling yourself that because you diluted it, it's not toxic. But 20 years of diluted poison still kills, just slower.
You're being excessive. We're not toxic. We're just not like we used to be.
Not like we used to be. A nice way to say dead without having to look directly at the corpse. When did you realize you didn't love your wife anymore?
I don't know. There wasn't a specific moment. It was just gradual. Maybe 2 years ago, or 3. I woke up one day and realized I didn't want to come home anymore. I started working late, finding reasons to stay at the office. And when I came home, I felt nothing, just tired.
And you think your wife doesn't notice? You think she doesn't know when you look for excuses not to come home? When you choose your phone over conversation? When you lie with your back to her every night? She knows, and you know she knows. But you both pretend, because admitting the truth requires action.
Then why doesn't she say anything? Why doesn't she bring it up either?
Maybe because she's as scared as you are. Scared of being seen as the one who broke the family. Scared of starting over. Scared of being alone. Or maybe she's waiting for you, the man, to have enough courage to say what you both know, but neither dares to admit.
And if I say it, everyone will blame me. They'll say, "Why didn't you try harder? Why didn't you go to marriage counseling? Why did you give up so easily?"
And you're going to let the opinions of people who don't live your life determine how you live it? Those people won't be lying next to you on nights when you feel empty. They won't be there when you look in the mirror and don't recognize the man looking back. They're only there to judge, then return to their own lives while you remain stuck in the cage you built yourself.
But they're not entirely wrong. Have I tried my best? Have I done everything possible to save the marriage?
That's the wrong question. The right question is, do both of you want to save it? Because one person can't save a marriage. You can try your hardest, but if she's also just getting through the days, then you're only prolonging death, not reviving love.
I don't know what she wants. We don't talk about these things.
That's exactly the problem. You talk about everything except what matters most. Who picks up the kid? Which bill is due? What to buy at the grocery store? But nobody asks, do you still love me? Nobody asks, what are we doing? Because you're both afraid of the answer.
If I ask and the answer is no, then what?
Then at least you know. Then at least you stop wasting the rest of your time on an illusion. But what if the answer is, I don't know, or maybe we can try? Then you have a chance. But that chance only exists if you're brave enough to ask.
And if we try, but it still doesn't work? If we go to counseling, do everything right, but still feel like strangers?
Then at least you know you tried. You won't sit there 20 years from now wondering, what if I'd tried harder? You'll know. And when the time comes to leave, if it comes to that, you'll leave with clarity, not regret.
I keep thinking about my child. When they grow up and ask, why did mom and dad divorce? What will I say? Because dad didn't love mom anymore? That sounds so selfish.
No, you'll say, because mom and dad realized we couldn't make each other happy anymore, and we loved you enough not to want you growing up in a house where love was just duty. You'll teach your child that sometimes the greatest courage is admitting when something no longer works.
But people won't see it that way. They'll look at me and think, this guy abandoned his wife and kid.
Let me ask you something. At your funeral, who will come? The people judging you today, or the people who truly love you? And among those who love you, what will they remember? That you stayed in a dead marriage because you feared others' opinions? Or that you had the courage to choose honesty, however difficult?
I just don't want my child to hate me.
Your child won't hate you for leaving. They'll hate you if you stay and make everyone miserable. Kids don't need parents under the same roof. They need parents who are happy, or at least honest. What lesson do you want your child to learn? Endure unhappiness for duty? Or have the courage to seek your own happiness?
Sounds good. But reality is way more complicated.
Reality is always more complicated when you use it as an excuse not to act. But let me simplify for you. You have 3 choices. 1. You stay and really fight. Not pretend, not just get through the days, but sit down with your wife and say, we're dying. Do we want to save this? Then you go to counseling. You do the work. You try. And if, after a year, the feelings return, good. If not, at least you know you tried.
Choice 2?
2. You leave now. Not abandoning your child, not abandoning responsibility, but admitting this marriage is over, and it's better to end it decently rather than let it rot for another decade. You're still your child's father. You still fulfill your responsibilities. You're just no longer the husband of someone you don't love.
And 3?
3. You continue as is. You pretend. You get through the days. You tell yourself you're sacrificing for your child. And 10 years later, 20 years later, when your child grows up and leaves home, you sit there with someone you no longer recognize in an empty house, and you realize you've lost your entire life. That's choice 3. And it's the most common choice because it's the easiest. No courage required. Just freeze.
I feel like I'm standing on a cliff, looking down and not knowing what's below.
That's how it has to feel. Change is always a leap into the unknown. But you know what's certain? If you stand on this cliff for another 10 years, your legs will rot and you'll fall anyway. But by then, you'll be older, more tired, and with less hope.
I'm so scared. Scared of deciding wrong. Scared of hurting my child. Scared of being alone. Scared of failing.
You've already failed. You're living a life you don't want. You're pretending to love someone you don't love. You're teaching your child that's what adults do. That's failure. The only thing you can do now is decide whether you'll continue failing quietly or you'll have a brave failure, one that leads to something better.
How do I know it'll be better?
You don't. You never do. That's the point. Life has no certainty except death. All you have are choices and the courage to live with them. But let me ask you, if you knew that 5 years from now, whatever you do, you'll still face this decision, but by then you're older, your child is older, and you've lost 5 more years, would you wish you decided today?
Yes. I think I would.
Then why aren't you deciding?
Because I don't know how. I don't know where to start.
You start with a conversation. Tonight, before bed, you sit down with your wife and you say, "We need to talk, really talk, about us." And you ask her, "Are you happy? And more importantly, do you want to keep trying?" No blame, no attacks, just honesty. That's step 1.
And if she says no?
Then you know, and you start planning the next step responsibly. You find a lawyer, you arrange finances, you prepare for the conversation with your child with kindness and honesty. You don't run away. You leave like a man. And if she says yes, if she says, "You too? I thought it was just me."
Then we have a chance.
Exactly, a chance. But you'll never know if you don't ask. And every day you delay that conversation is a day you're stealing from all 3 people. You, your wife, and your child. All 3 deserve better.
I'll talk to her. I don't know what I'll say, but I will.
You'll say the truth. That's all that's needed. Not cruel truth, not truth designed to hurt, but simple truth. "Honey, I feel like we've lost each other. I want to know if we can find each other again, or if it's too late." That's courage. That's love. Not for the marriage, but for the people in it.
Thank you. I'm still scared, but at least now I know what to do.
Fear is good. Fear means it matters. But don't let fear paralyze you. Feel it, then act anyway. That's the definition of courage. Now go. The conversation is waiting, and you've delayed it long enough.
Yes, I'm going now.
One more thing.
Yes?
Whatever the outcome, whether you decide to try again or separate, remember, you're not a betrayer if you're honest. You're only a betrayer if you lie. And you've lied long enough. To your wife, to your child, to yourself. It's time to stop.
I understand. Thank you. Really, thank you.
I don't need thanks. I just need you to live. Really live. Now go.